Welcome to the Jordan Talks Jiu-Jitsu podcast, where Mike, Joey, and myself discuss all things grappling. All right, welcome to the Jordan Talks Jiu-Jitsu podcast with co-host Uki Mike and Joey Boretski. And we have a new lighting setup and just a new setup in general, so I hope you guys like it and enjoy it. If you watch it on YouTube, I know a lot of people listen to it on Spotify and whatnot, so you won't be able to see it. All right, make sure you guys check out xmartial.com. Use my code Jordan10. They sponsor the podcast and me. They make amazing rash guards. Like, I got my T-Rex Arms rash guard on there, my Limitless rash guards, and they're super awesome. Like, you know, I wouldn't have, I'd agree to a sponsorship if they weren't awesome gear. Like, I wear them because I like to. So let's just get started with, the same way we always do. Let us know how your week went, Joey, and then we'll go with Mike next.
Mine wasn't too bad. I was a little sick last weekend, so I couldn't make the podcast, but feel a lot better now, back to training. It's always nice sometimes when you get sick to like have a break from training because you have to like heal and get better. And then when you come back, it just feels like I have more energy now.
Yeah, exactly. Breaks can really help. Like, I think people don't really realize that. They think like, oh, I'm like losing time on the mats or whatever, and I'm going to come back like not as good at cardio. But I feel like every time I'm taking a break, I just feel so much more refreshed after. And, I'm glad I took that break. So, and, the plan was when Joey was sick to have Nikki on the podcast. But then the day we were going to do it, me and Nikki just weren't feeling like up to it. We just weren't feeling like great moods. So we just didn't do it. So, but me and Nikki are going to do a podcast soon because I think it'll be really interesting to see her perspective on everything jiu-jitsu and, as a lady, because it's definitely different from being a man in jiu-jitsu for sure.
Last week I was sick also. That's why I didn't make the podcast. And my anxiety in general has been pretty bad. Actually, right now I'm having a bit of a panic attack, if I'm being honest with you, 100%. Just trying to fight it, trying to do my best. But yeah, you're right, though. Taking a few days off is very helpful with your game. I used to think the exact same thing. I had to be there every night, twice a night if I could. But it really kind of wrecks you after a while, especially at my age.
Is there anything specific, like anything you want to get off your chest? Because I know, like for me, I kind of use like the podcast a little bit as like therapy, just getting things off my chest. So,
I do too, but I also don't want people to feel like, this is, anxiety hour with Mike. You know what I mean? There's nothing really to get off my chest. I don't know why it just hit me all of a sudden. When we're sitting here, my heart is doing about 140. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think one reason too, probably because I get really nervous when we haven't done a podcast in a while. I started like, every time I get really nervous before it starts, like people don't see like the beginning. I'm like, I have to say like, welcome to the Jordan Talks Jiu-Jitsu podcast like so many times before I get it right. And yeah, it's like, it's a nerve-wracking thing.
Yeah, actually it's starting to come down now a little bit. Thanks for you admitting it too helps me.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm no stranger to anxiety, so yeah, I understand.
Feel better now, thanks.
Yeah, good. And my week went pretty good overall. We've been training really hard, because I got that super fight coming up. So that's been really fun, like doing hill sprints and whatnot. It's not fun at all. Like I feel so dead after that. And I don't know if I'm going to compete after I do the super fight for a while, just because it is such a commitment to actually get ready physically. And, you only have so much energy in the day. So if I dedicate all my energy to training, it's like I have less energy for other stuff I want to do in my life. So yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to compete after this, but I am looking forward to the match. It's going to be a really good one with Cesar. And that's October 28th. And there's going to be pay-per-view and tickets available. It's going to be in Etobicoke. So if you live in the GTA, the Toronto area, make sure check that out. And what else happened? I hired another person for the YouTube channel. I hired Feta. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but he writes for BJJ Eastern Europe. So like he knows like jiu-jitsu pretty well and marketing and stuff like that. So basically my plan is to like, use my AdSense money to pay him and my editor, Ben. And then, I'm going to make my money through sponsorships, through Patreon, and then through course sales. So, I'm really investing back into the channel and, with the purpose of, one thing, making money that helps me, but like I can provide so much more content to people and better content, because doing it all myself is actually like ridiculously hard. So having them be able to help me out with things, it's going to really, improve the channel quite a bit. So
I really like the idea of you videotaping the classes.
Yeah, that's been a hit. People have been really liking that. And I really enjoy doing it too. I was like watching my last one, because usually I don't watch like I don't watch any videos of like that I post, because it's just hard seeing yourself. But, I was watching my last class and I was pretty happy with it. I was like, damn, I'm a pretty good teacher. So yeah I was like pretty, I was impressed with myself. And one thing, sometimes I say things and people think I'm like cocky, But I don't think there's anything wrong with like being proud of yourself and acknowledging your accomplishments and acknowledging if you're good at something. So, because I had like a Facebook comment, so I put an ad out for like Facebook, to try to get people in the area, and then I was just saying, I got like a YouTube channel, whatever, and renowned instructor, and he's like, this guy's so cocky, whatever, I would never go there. I'm like, chill, bro, it's no big deal. So I just delete the comment, no big deal, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah. I'd rather train with an instructor who believes in themselves and is like confident that they're a good instructor than someone who doesn't have any confidence in themselves and is like, I don't think I'm very good. Like, that's not the guy I want to learn from.
Yeah, exactly. And, there's such a difference between confidence and, cockiness. And basically cockiness is just confidence with arrogance combined, right? So, no one wants anyone like that. And there's such a huge difference. So, I never feel bad for being confident and, being proud of myself. Like, I'm proud of myself and the things that I've done. And, nothing wrong with that. So people are strange out there. People want to bring other people down. I think in a lot of like cultures specifically, like some countries, I know it's even worse. I don't think Canada's too bad, but I've heard in like European countries, it's like really bad. If you like, if you're like doing well, people try to bring you down. Or if you try to like, just state that you're doing well, people try to like talk shit or whatever. So it's such a strange thing.
Yeah. I always like to see my peer do well or as good as me or better. Why not? Right.
Exactly. I want to see everyone do well, literally everyone. I want everyone to have the best life they can possibly have and be confident with themselves and, have a good life. Like, people are so silly out there.
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll get started with some viewer questions. This one's from Claudio.
Joey, Mike, this is Claudio from Mexico. First of all, thank you so much because a few episodes ago you answered a question about a recommendation for a takedown, which I was able to hit it twice on a tournament, so thank you so much on that. I have a question. Sometimes I'm finding myself having a hard time to pull the trigger in the sense that either during the roll to attack or improve my position or just sweeping, I'm finding myself hesitant, which it used to be way worse before, so it's kind of improving. But if you have any recommendations of I guess I would call it be more aggressive and not in a douche way, just being more aggressive to win. What would you recommend? Thank you.
Yeah, it's a tough thing. I know a lot of people struggle with this, like pulling the trigger. I think a lot of it comes down to is like not knowing what to do when, and that can, cause problems. Like you don't know if like the thing you're going to try is actually going to work. So then it's like, you lack the confidence to do it. And it's a kind of like a double-edged sword too, because I know when I'm rolling, when I think about something, I think, should I go for this now? It's like, that's the wrong time to do it, So like I try to, anytime I think like that, try to instead be patient and just wait for something to happen, wait for like my opportunity, wait for them to move a little bit. And, during their transition, that's when I'll attack. But, it's easier for me. It's harder for me to give advice that way just because, I'm like, I'm a black belt and, I have a very flowy style. So I don't have much hesitation with doing things. So I feel like I can't give like great advice that way. So, we'll see what you guys think.
Yeah, I think it's really important if you're having trouble pulling the trigger to like identify why, because there are a couple different reasons why people don't pull the trigger. Like the most common ones I see are either people aren't confident in the technique they're trying to do and they're not sure it's going to work. So they get in their head and go, I don't know what's going to work, so I'm not going to do it because I don't want to try it, obviously, if it's not going to work. And the other big one I see is people go, if it doesn't work, I don't know what to do after that. Like if I go for a triangle and he passes, I'm so scared of being on the bottom that I don't want to go for the triangle to begin with, but like there's an opportunity for a triangle and people almost kind of get paralyzed by the fear of what could go wrong. And you almost like, if that's the case, you just have to get comfortable being in the bad spot and knowing that like, I don't know a single person who rolls where everything goes right all the time. Like the best people I've grappled with, things go wrong all the time. But you just have to know that like things are going to go wrong and be confident enough that you can fix any problem that comes up.
Yeah, that's a great point. And, I know for me, like coming up, I always try to do things anyways, even if it's going to put me in a bad spot, because I'd have confidence that I'd be able to figure out a way to, rectify the situation. So, I don't think it's such a bad thing if like something bad does happen, because it gives you that opportunity to, work on your defense and work on your guard retention, like your late retention and whatnot. If it's like a, like a triangle, like you said, and it's like any place you're going to be in within a roll is going to be beneficial to, to be in that spot and learn to get out. And so I don't think it's such a bad thing.
Yeah, I like the way you phrased it. Like just go for it anyways. Like even if you're in a good spot and you're like, I want to go for a Kimura on top, but just go for it. Even if he defends, well, you're just getting practice at dealing with what happens when someone does something right. Especially in the gym, like in a tournament, it's a little different, but in the gym, just try it. Even if it maybe isn't the perfect time for this move, try it, see what happens. Maybe you go, oh, I could figure something else out.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's how I've developed that flowy style, just because I'm not hesitant in the things I do, because like you said, or like I said too, like, just go for it. And the place you're going to be in isn't going to be that bad. I mean, you can work to get out of it. Like, what do you think, Mike, as a blue belt? Like, do you struggle with this?
Yeah, for me, you guys nailed it. It's a lack of confidence in pulling off the submission or the trick that I'm trying to do, right?
Yeah.
And then ending up in a shitty spot.
Yeah, I think what it comes down to too a lot of times is like, you have less tools in your toolkit. So
100%.
Yeah, you run into a situation where you don't know what to do, and now you're getting like smashed and submitted and whatnot. So it is a tough thing for lower belts, right? And I wish there was like sometimes I wish I could have better answers, but sometimes that's just the way it is. And, you have to, but again, use those opportunities to learn and figure out, and you gain more tools in your toolkit that way too.
Yeah, and use the only two options I know to do, and if I fail on both of them, why did I fail, and work off that and improve. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think everyone's goal should be to, especially in the beginning, to have like an answer, at least like one answer for every like common position, right? So, and then if you don't, then go back and like in that moment, if you don't, go back after and figure out what is a good option from that position. So just say like, someone passes your guard, and because you did something that, wasn't very smart, and then now you're north-south and you don't have a north-south escape, you're like, oh crap, what do I do now? Well, you can research after, or ask your coach, and what are some good north-south escapes, and then now you have an answer to that. So if you do that multiple times, you're going to have a very complete game that way.
Yeah, like the easiest way to learn where you need to improve is to make mistakes. I've seen a lot of people who roll and they get like 2 or 3 moves that they're really good at, and they just do that. Like every round, like I know there's been some guys at our gym who it's like they've got a great triangle and a great Kimura from the bottom. And every round, like clockwork, they're going to sit to guard, they're going to look for triangle and Kimura. And if it works, they look great. But if it doesn't work, there's nothing else in that game. And you're like, I get that you're tapping a lot of people with this and it feels good. And, everyone likes winning, but you're not finding those holes by like, try your omoplata. Did it work? No. Well, instead of just going, well, it didn't work, I'm just not going to do omoplata. I'm going to go back to my triangle and it's like Kimura. Just figure out why it didn't work. Make it work. Learn it.
Exactly. I think sometimes people, like, they ask me on YouTube, they're like, do you ever get submitted? And yes, I do. But the question more so is like, how many times have I been submitted? Which is a lot in my, my 10 years of grappling. I had to make a lot of mistakes to get good at jiu-jitsu. So, I think it's just a funny thing that way, where it's like, people don't always see like the rise of like getting like, good at something. They just like see like the end result, and they don't understand, me and all other black belts, and we were in the same situation as they were, trying to navigate jiu-jitsu, trying to figure out all these different things to get better. And it's like, now we are, but we had that journey. So yeah, everyone has a pretty similar journey that way.
Yeah.
So we'll take a question from Craig.
Hi, Jordan, Joey, and UK Mike. This is Craig from Campbell, also the host of the Average Joe Jiu-Jitsu podcast. Jordan and I spoke during an interview in the past. It was great. I hope you've been doing good. My question is in regards to the comment I left on the Patreon channel, third week of the dogfight system. I wrote, really enjoyed these 3 videos, answered so many questions and cleared up so much for me when it comes to the dogfight position. Please keep posting class footage. From watching the drilling, I saw some interesting counters from the ukes. It also looked like grabbing the belt is possibly not a good choice for this particular system. During the instruction, you made a point to grab the uke's latissimus muscle or back muscle to keep your head and body close to the uke's chest and body. The belt would rotate around the uke's waist, making it difficult to keep that type of no daylight contact. Just my observation. But I wanted to ask you about belt control in general. What are your ideas on it, views on it? I was watching some gym rolling footage of Gordon Ryan and a gi on Flow Grappling, and he was actually doing a lot of belt control. What's your opinion of it? Thank you.
Yeah, so that's a great question, and that's what I've been teaching, or that's what I'm posting on the Patreon lately. Is like a lot of dogfight stuff, and I might do a YouTube video on that soon because it's like really fresh in my mind. And to answer your question, every grip has a purpose and has, I guess, limitations and what they can do and what they can't do. So like a belt grip, it can move side to side, so it's not necessarily something you want to pull someone to the side with, right? So like when you have in that position, we have the underhook. It's better to grab their back muscle because you can, when you use it, nothing bad happens that way. So you can pull them forward, and that's what you need to do. So, because it can move side to side, it's not the best grip to take when you're using it more of like an underhook, right? So what's a great thing to do is to grab the lapel instead. I like to feed the lapel, their far side lapel to my hand and use it as an underhook. I think that's a great option. Like a belt grip is like more for like pulling upwards, but it's still like, it can still move side to side that way. So I'm not a huge fan of grabbing the belt unless it's just like the first grip you take, because sometimes like doing like the best thing, most optimal thing isn't the best thing. It's like whatever's available sometimes, but if you can grab the quickest. And just to expand on my point about grips, it's like, if you have like a collar grip on someone, that's a grip for pulling down, right? So sometimes people they'll use collar grips and not really realize what they're using them for. And, it's like, that's a pulling down grip. And every grip has a specific purpose. So, it's about figuring out what they do and, when to use them. So we'll take this one from Caesar.
Hey guys, big fan from Dallas, Texas. I find myself having trouble rolling with people my weight class. I don't normally have partners my size, and I'm usually rolling with people 20, maybe 40 pounds lighter than me. So I'm able to work technique. I'm able to, get on top or from bottom and sweep and work some certain omoplatas or arm bars or anything like that. But when I start rolling with somebody who's my size or a little bigger, 10 pounds or anything, I find myself struggling. Has this been like a false sense of security? Should I keep on working on technique, incorporate weight training? And thank you.
Yeah, so I think it could be a combination of everything, possibly. I mean, like, the reality is too, like the closer someone is in size, or if they're bigger, the harder jiu-jitsu is, and the smaller they are, the easier it is for the most part. If technique is equal. So, it might be the case that, he's kind of using too much strength when he is rolling with smaller people, and then the technique isn't translating to, people's own size. That's a possibility. And, strength training definitely helps. Like, to be stronger than people your own size or bigger is a huge advantage. Like, I know for me, I'm a pretty strong guy. So like, when I go against people that are bigger, it's not a huge factor. It's not a really big factor that they're bigger, because they might have size on me, but our strength is usually pretty equal. I don't feel outmuscled by most people that are bigger than me.
Yeah, and it depends too. Like, it's hard to say. Like, very well could be that you're just using a little bit more strength than you probably should be with smaller people. But it can also be the techniques you're choosing. Like, for me, like, I have short arms. If you give me, we've got some guys in our gym, like Andrew, who's a rooster weight. I can Darce choke Andrew, no problem. My little short arms can get through there and get my grip. But if I tried to Darce choke you, like, you're broad, there's not a chance my arms lock up easily. So it's not that I can't use the technique. It's that it becomes so much harder to do against the bigger person, not because they're bigger or stronger, but just because of the build of their body.
Yeah, that's a great point. And just to expand on that, another great example is like the body lock, because the body lock, I think, is the best way to control someone when you have their back. To control someone, it's not as good for like transitioning to like arm bars and stuff, but to control someone, the body lock is like overpowered. But like, I can't get the body lock on people my own size or bigger. Like, it's just not going to happen. My legs are too short. So, if I'm like, rolling people that are smaller, I use the body lock, and then I go to roll someone that's bigger and it's not working. It's not like, it's something I shouldn't use. It's just not, there's no point in even trying in someone that's bigger or the same size. So there's a lot of techniques like that. That was a great point about technique selection. Yeah. What do you think, Mike?
I really don't have an answer to this question. I'm blanking out on it. I'm still stuck on the question before. For some reason, the reason why I wouldn't grab a belt is because it wouldn't translate into no-gi as well. as well. Sorry about that, but I couldn't get that question out of my head.
No, we can keep going with that. I just, I think I moved too fast on that one.
It's okay.
But, that's a great point. And I think my style in gi is very similar to no gi. I use the same grips for the most part. And I think that's the optimal way to train for a lot of for a general style. There's like very specific styles where it's like, you grab a very intricate lapel grips and whatnot. But I think that the best way to, be good at jiu-jitsu is to have a game that doesn't rely on lapel grips and stuff like that. And that's very versatile and you can use for gi or no gi.
And to answer the current question, sorry. Yeah, I do well against guys that are smaller than me as well. And then I don't do as well against guys who are the same size as me because I was using too much strength before and too little technique. And when I upped my technique, then I could hang with guys or do better than guys my size.
Exactly. I think it's been like a big myth in jiu-jitsu that like technique conquers all. Like, well, I mean, it does. I think when your technique is so much better than someone that is larger, but there's still limitations. It's like, a 100-pound person with the amazing technique is not going to be able to beat someone that's like 250 pounds with pretty good technique. They might be able to beat someone that, is that size if they're total garbage and the small person's like elite level. But size definitely plays a huge factor in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, it's like a sliding scale. I mean, technique can beat strength, but the difference in technique has to be large enough to overcome that strength. And as that like difference in technical skill shrinks, size matters more and more. Like if you get two people the same size or the same technique who are very different sizes, odds are the bigger guy is usually going to win. I mean, if you look at the world championships and like absolute divisions where at black belt, everyone is really good. Let's be honest. Everyone who competes at the world championship at black belt is probably pretty good. I don't think there's been an absolute division winner under 195 pounds. Yeah. Like it's just hard. If you're small and the other guy's also good, you're fighting an uphill battle.
Yeah. One of the only guys to really win the absolute as a smaller guy, like regularly, is Marcelo Garcia, who is like 170 pounds, maybe 180. I'm not sure. Is he middleweight or is he a lightweight? I can't
He's
remember.
Middle. Yeah. Because he used to do ADC at 88 kilograms, which is 100 and I could be wrong here, 190, I want to say.
Yeah.
So he's somewhere around that.
Exactly. He would consistently do well in the absolute division. And I mean, others have done well, but like he would consistently do really well. So he's a good example of a smaller guy doing well. So this one's from Sadiq.
Hey Jordan, my name is Sadiq. I'm a blue belt from Daytona Beach, Florida. Absolutely love the podcast, so keep up the good work. I think you guys provide a lot of great insight, and I just love your channel and your videos and all that. My question for you is, what do you find are like your favorite YouTube channels and online media places to, get content for your jiu-jitsu? Some of my favorites are, of course, yours. I really, really like BMAC, who from 10th Planet. I like watching some Eddie Bravo. And there, of course, a lot of others like BJJ Fanatics. So I'm curious, what would you say are your favorites? And obviously, I want to hear from everyone else too. But yeah, keep up the good work. Love the channel. Thanks.
Yeah, so that's a great question, and I love like talking about other YouTube channels.
So do I.
Yeah, so I love this question because I really like other YouTube channels. I mean, before I was a YouTuber, I was a YouTube viewer, right? So I used to watch these channels, and I still do, like some more than others. My personal favorite is Less Impressed, More Involved, which we talked about in the past. Jake is a great dude, and it's really cool for him. He's starting to get sponsorships for his videos, and I've been giving him some advice on that, on how to kind of approach that and whatnot. So yeah, I'm really happy to to help him with his channel a little bit that way, because people like help me a lot with my channel, like Kieran Lefebvre, like from Australia. he always gave me a ton of great advice. Elbows tight. Travis from there always gave me lots of advice, and other people like that. So there's no like, I haven't ran into a lot of gatekeepers that way. These people the ones I'm mentioning have been like super gracious with their knowledge. So I try to do the same thing, not specifically because they did it to me, but because it's just the right thing to do. Like, you don't want to be a gatekeeper. You want to help other people. So yeah, I really love Less Than Press, More Involved. And, it's just such a great way to like, it's kind of like, a great channel for like competitive jiu-jitsu, like watching like the higher level jiu-jitsu and kind of the meta of it. So, I think I mentioned in the past, like I don't watch jiu-jitsu at all. Like, I outside of like, watching some highlights of like Gordon Ryan, I don't really watch it much at all. So that's why we also don't really talk about it too much, because I'm not knowledgeable in it, because I don't really enjoy watching jiu-jitsu personally. I like doing it. So yeah, I love Less Than Press, More Involved. And what are some other good ones? John Thomas, I think, is a really good teacher. I think he's like, my own personal opinion, I think he's like more for like sport jiu-jitsu, almost like very like specific type of things, like collar and sleeve type guard and whatnot, and nothing wrong with that. And so that's great. It's a great, it's a great service and a great product and everything, right? So but like I would like to see him just, teach more like, I guess, fundamentals too, because I think that would really help his game. Like I haven't really, not his game, his like YouTube channel grow a little bit more. Like, so that's my own personal opinion. And who else is good? BMAC, he does some cool challenge videos.
I like that stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to make my own challenge video. So actually, let's talk about it right now. This is my idea for a challenge video. So it's going to be really hard to explain probably. So bear with me here. So what I want to do, I want to put $1,000 on the line, and we have me, Joey, and Darren go up against 9 other people that have been on the channel previously. So every point, we do 9 rounds. We each roll with, like each black belt rolls with every person once. So the point differential is money. So like, just say I get 20 points, or 25 points or whatever, like more than someone else in that round. So I get $25 from that $1,000, we get on our side. So, and then at the end, we see how much money we split, right? It depends on the point differential. So, but then what helps the other people out, like the other side, the non-black belts, is that if they submit us even once, it resets it to 0 for us. So they get the full 1,000. So, just say like, I want to have Alex on the channel. Just say like, after 9 rolls, I'm going to be pretty dead. And I go with Alex, and he submits me last round. Well, all those 9 people are going to split $1,000, right? So, but if we just murk everyone, we get to split that $1,000.
I like that. That sounds so much fun.
Yeah.
And it's stressful because it's not just you. Like, you got to hope the other guys don't make a mistake too. Cause like Alex is a beast, and when you're tired, Alex is not tired. And
exactly. So that's why we need to be strategic with who he goes with first, second, and third, just because, if we put Alex with you third, like last round, like you're just a smaller dude. So like, it's possible he might get you, and then we lose that 1,000, right? So
true, but I have good cardio, so
yeah, you do.
Maybe I can handle that.
That's the thing. You got better cardio than me, but I'm like, bigger and stronger than you. So it's like, we got to be strategic that way. We got to think about that, right? So I think that'll be a really good way to do it. And also another cool thing I want to do, if we get the same submission 3 times in a round, then we get double the points for the differential.
I thought you were going to say put them to sleep.
No, we won't do that. We won't do that. But we'll get double the points, which is double the money, right? So, and I think it's good having people like Alex and other like tough guys in it, because the point differential might be really small. So it's not like I don't think we're just going to murk everyone. I'm really interested to see how it'll go, and if we get the money, or if the black belts end up getting the money, or if the lower belts get the money. So it's not just like, we're just going to wreck blue belts or anything. It's like, let's pick some like tough dudes from that have been previously on the channel.
When do you plan on doing this?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I got to do that soon. I think it'll be really fun, but I really got to plan this out better, because I want it to be like absolutely perfect. And I have 2 cameras, so it makes it so we can film, because there's 3 rolls going on at once. So we can film 2 at once, which is pretty good. And like, I don't know. We'll do it soon.
So the 3 black belts would all have 9 rounds each?
Yeah. Okay. All at the same time. So there's 9 rounds total. I'm rolling with someone, you're rolling with someone, Darren's rolling with someone. So those 9, they only roll 3 times each. That's right, because they roll with one. Yeah, each of us once, but we roll with all of them. So we'll do like 5 or 6 minute rounds.
So I was just going to ask.
Yeah. And then, so just say we do 6 minute rounds, 9 times 6 is.
It's 54 minutes of
Yeah,
rolling.
54
That's a lot.
Exactly. So
50, and they're going to be going hard at you too.
Because they want
and they want the
They
money.
want the money. So nobody's going to be pissing about. They're going to be going for the throat right off the bat.
I love this
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah. You know, I've been brainstorming this idea for so freaking long, trying to figure out how to make it work. And finally, I feel like I figured it out. Like, this is perfect because the point differential makes it so that you can't stall. Like, it doesn't make sense because, you know, then like you don't get any money. Right. So I think this is like the great way to do it. Cause just say it was like, you only get like, well, I don't know. There's so many ways to do it, but yeah, this is the best way. So
at the end, do you give, say the other guys get the $1,000 somehow magically? Do you give them a way to compete for the whole $1,000? Like, say there's 9 guys, and
What the heck was
sorry,
that?
that was me.
oh, that's okay. Mike's water bottle dropped.
Sorry. Say they win $1,000. Is there a way that they team up against each other to one guy can walk away with $1,000, or is it you just want to make it?
Yeah, I just want to make it so like, you know, at the end they're like, yay, we got the 1,000, which, you know, they only get like $110 each,
Yeah.
you know, that way. But then us black belts, we get $333 each. So, you know, it's better for us, right? So, yeah, I'm really excited for that. It's gonna be great. Maybe we could do more than 1,000. Just depends. If I can get like a really good sponsor, like, you know, tell them this is gonna be like a freaking unreal video, and it's gonna do like 1 million views. Maybe I could get a sponsor for like 5,000.
That would be cool.
That would be, then you got big money on the line.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd make me want to be on the roll in front of the camera.
Who'd you
actually.
pick?
Exactly.
Other than Alex, who else? Who would you think? You don't have to spoil it all, but I got to know. Who do you think would be a really good guy to have on there?
I really want to do people that have already been on the channel, but yeah. So like Alex has been on the channel. Maybe we get the jacked what I call in the video, the jacked army dude. We get Bobby. Yeah, Bobby. We maybe get him to come down. He lives in Quebec. I think he would do it for, you know, it's for money, and, you know, it's a fun thing to do. So, and he's pretty big and pretty jacked. So I want like a mix of people. So yeah, him, Bobby, and then Bobby and Alex, and then, you know, some smaller dudes like you know, like Daniel might be pretty good. He's been on the channel a bunch.
Alexi.
Yeah, Alexi too. Alexi would be good. And yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Justin, would you want to do it? You should do it. You're on the podcast, so it's.
I don't know.
You got to do it.
I'd have to see.
Yeah.
I'd probably do it. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think it'll be such a cool dynamic that way, because, you know, against a smaller person, I might like rack up like a 50-point differential, but against like, you know, Alex, when I'm like super tired, maybe the point differential is going to be, you know, not quite good. And yeah. And because again, if they submit us even once, it resets it. It like makes it so like there's a lot of stakes on the line.
Did you say already is it gi or no gi?
I'll probably do no gi. Yeah. Just because, yeah, I personally prefer no gi.
It's more exciting too.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's like, and if you're like a content creator listening, don't steal my idea before I do it, because yeah. And just first off, shout out to Brandon McGraffin for instilling this idea in my head. And, you know, I'm kind of expanding upon it. One thing I think was wrong with it could have been better with his video, is that nobody won the money. So I feel like that was a bit of like an anticlimactic thing about it. And I'm not criticizing. I think they should, like, I don't know, for any listeners, they didn't watch the video. He rolled with people like for like 3 hours, and anyone that submits him, they get to take a ballot, or they get to, you know, they grab like a card and then they flip it, and then it says what they win. And they had I think that they had too many cards to pick up. They should have had way less, so it's way more likely you're going to win that money. And that's just my own opinion, though. Like, again, I'm not criticizing Brandon's video. It's just I would have done that differently. I would have make sure someone wins the money. Yeah. So I like it this way. We're going to win money. So, and it's not $333 guaranteed, or like $110 for them. It's like it might be we win $200 each, and they win like $50 each or something like that, right? Yeah. So probably everyone's walking away with some money.
It's still fun all the way around.
Yeah,
anyways,
exactly.
Yeah.
That's the fun part about it. And again, if I can get a $5,000 sponsor,
yeah,
that means we can win thousands of dollars.
Yeah, that's exciting. That's really exciting.
Exactly. So I got to talk to my what's it called? My agent. I've got an agent that finds me sponsors. So I'll tell him it's gonna be a million view video. You know, see if you can get me something, and I think you'll be able to. So yeah, we kind of went off a tangent there. So what are some of your guys' favorite YouTube channels for jiu-jitsu?
I like, so I always split like the way I classify like Jiu-Jitsu YouTube into like education and entertainment, because I think they are really different products, and it's not necessarily fair to like compare like John Thomas, who does like a lot of like lapel stuff, to like Flow Grappling, who does like full on documentaries and has $1 million budgets. Like they're very different things, but those are probably my two favorites for their niches. Like I like lapel stuff. I like all that and like weird trickery that John Thomas has. So I find his like channel really useful resource for me. And I really honestly, like, I guess it's kind of an unpopular opinion because it seems like most people hate Flow, but like I tend to enjoy a lot of their content. Like they do come out with a lot of good stuff.
Yeah. People really hate Flow for a lot of reasons. Let's talk about
I think
them.
it's their subscription model is why they hate it.
That, and one of the guys just got fired. I don't know how to pronounce his name, Hawaii or something like that. But yeah, he got fired, and people hated him before because I guess he like raised money for a Red Belt documentary, and then he just didn't make it. So he kind of like stole like $15,000 from the community, and just kind of was like, oh, oops.
Shit.
So
yeah.
It was a bit of a scam. It was a thing in the community years ago.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, people aren't happy about that. And Flow was pretty good content for sure. What about you? What's your favorite channels?
Less impressed, more involved.
Yeah.
I love that because he seems to hit on the next trend that's coming.
Yeah.
If you go back and look at his channels or look at his videos, he'll say the next is the false reap. Excuse me, the false reap, and then all of a sudden you start seeing false reap all over the place. He really gets into the meta of jiu-jitsu. I really love his channel. I can't say enough good things about his channel. It's amazing.
Yeah, he's like a channel like that I actually learn from, not like technique specifically, but more like the meta and whatnot. What's current trends. So it's like I feel like I don't need to watch high level jiu-jitsu because I can just watch his channel and get all the information I need condensed. So we talk to each other like we're just talking to each other.
Exactly.
And it's like, oh crap, there's like thousands of people listening. And it's like, I should be careful what I say.
Yeah, and if you ever disagree with us, like don't hate us for disagreeing with us or not liking our opinion. Like most of us are pretty reasonable people. Like if I say something that you really disagree with or you think is offensive, shoot me a message on like Instagram or something and I'll explain why I feel the way I do, or maybe like explain to me why I'm wrong or why I shouldn't say something I say. And if you're right, I'm open to hearing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Same here.
Yeah, I think that's a huge problem in our culture nowadays, where it's like you don't agree with someone, you hate them, screw them, you wish death upon them almost, right? It's like, yeah, I don't like that. Like, there's a lot of people that have opinions I don't agree with, but I don't care. Like, it's like no big deal. Like I used to before when I was kind of more immature and younger. Like I see something I don't agree with, and like on Facebook or whatever or whatever, and I'd be like, oh, you're wrong, blah blah blah. But it's like now I see something I don't agree with. No big deal. Just keep scrolling and we're still friends. It's like, that I don't think opinions define people as long as they're not like, absolutely out there opinions that are very toxic and harmful. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. And if you only associate with people and only listen to people who have the exact same opinions as you, you'll never learn new things. You'll never grow. Like it's important to have people you disagree with, and it's important to talk about why you disagree rather than just getting angry.
Exactly. Like I'm willing to bet, well, I'm for sure everyone at the gym that we're friends with has different opinions on different subject matters, but we're still good friends. And it's like a lot of times it's like people just don't talk about things to prevent, messing up the friendship, but it's like you should be able to talk about things and it still be okay. It's not a big deal. So
yeah, there was a time a few weeks ago, me and you had a disagreement and we talked it out, and I mean, I'm still on the podcast, so we get along.
Exactly. We'll take another viewer question.
Yeah.
This one's from Rahan.
Hey Jordan, first off, just want to say thank you for what you do and congratulations on hitting that 100K. I can't wait for you to hit a mil. Just very happy for you. My question for you today is about tapping. Just for context, I am a white belt with about a year of training, and sometimes I find myself tapping too early where, my training partners are going, what the heck, why are you tapping? I haven't even done anything yet. Or I'm tapping too late and I find myself injured for the next couple of days. So I just kind of want to get your take on it. When is the best time to tap? Is it, when I start to feel pain? Is it when, for sure I can't escape? I just want to give my training partners, the best role, but also, protecting myself. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's a great question. And in my opinion, it's when you can't get out and, it's dead to rights. They have the submission. And so you can tap really early if that's the case. Like someone's pulling down on the arm bar, like it's almost extended. You know, you don't have to tap once you feel pain. I don't recommend that at all. I don't recommend tapping once you feel pain. You got to tap before that. And you know, if you're getting hurt because you're not tapping, you know, early enough, it might be that they're also going too hard in the submissions. The only submissions that are hard to go light on at times is like stuff from your guard. So like, you know, well, I wouldn't say stuff, like probably arm bars. Just say you have an arm bar from your guard, like your closed guard, and someone's like trying to like, you know, lift you up and stack you or whatever. It's like, it can be hard to finish that slowly because then you might, you know, hurt your neck or whatever, but you still have to. You can like, you know, just let go the arm bar if that's the case when you're training. But, you know, pretty much all scenarios in jiu-jitsu, you can finish very slowly. And if you can finish slow, you can finish fast. So, you know, that's what I said in another video I had. And that's just so important. You know, both people need to be very good about tapping etiquette. You need to tap early, but tapping too early can also be annoying sometimes, where it's like, I don't even have the submission locked in. I don't know why you're tapping right now, but I know, but at the same time, not like, you know, mad at them. It's just like, I wish they would, you know, just wait till it's locked in at least, you know, at least somewhat.
Yeah, then you can at least get your technique down on how your finishing mechanics as well.
Exactly.
So both guys win. Yeah.
Exactly. And, you know, especially with people you trust, it's like they're not going to hurt you, right? So sometimes, like, for example, I had like an omoplata on someone just the other day, or it wasn't omoplata, it was like more like omoplata armbar. And like, I hadn't even like started to finish anything yet. And they tapped and I was like, I'm still figuring out how I wanted to finish you, you know? So, but it's no big deal. I'd rather someone tap too early than tap too late all day.
Yeah, for sure. Especially, he said he was a white belt.
I think so, yeah.
I was going to say, because if it's leg locks, he's probably not doing, you know, much with leg locks, but with heel hooks, I tap often and early. For sure.
Oh yeah.
Because it goes from, I feel a little bit to, there goes my knee.
Yeah. You know, heel hooks are something that once you gain more experience with it, you can kind of hold out a little longer, in the sense that not when it's fully locked in, but in the sense that you understand when you're actually in danger, if your hips are being controlled, how good of a bite they actually have on your heel. So, you know, when I was starting to learn heel hooks, I would tap so quick, but then now it's like, they might think it's fully locked in, but I know it's not, and I know I'm safe, so I can last longer. But, you know, yeah, you want to definitely, as you're learning, tap extremely early to heel hooks.
Yeah.
I would always, with any submission, err on the side of tapping early rather than go, maybe this will be fine. I know, like, I tap a lot of times, sometimes to things like an arm bar where, like, you've got your grip and the hand breaks, and I'll just tap, because you learn, too, as you get better. Like, if you've been putting 1,000 arm bars, you know when there's control. You know when, like, there's maybe a 1% chance I get out of this, but there's a 99% chance I don't, and I'm not taking the risk that this guy decides he wants to finish fast, and I don't get time to tap.
Exactly.
I always tend to just tap early.
100%. I mean, that's one thing I mentioned in my performance and longevity course is tap early, tap often. And it's much better to tap early than tap late, obviously. And I was going to say, I can't remember. Any other things too?
I think chokes are a little different too. Like with arm bars and stuff, definitely tap early. But with chokes, almost always take a second and think, am I really being choked, or is this just really uncomfortable?
Yeah, but I mean, exactly. The thing is, like, we do have someone we train with that like never taps the chokes, and they've been put to sleep so many times. And like, how good is that for your brain?
Yeah,
I will clarify. Tap 2 chokes when they're on.
Yeah,
but there is a shocking number of chokes that I get out of, I think, as a black belt, rolling with like blue or purple belts who they put it on, they give a quick squeeze, and you go, oh, if they hold this for 10 seconds, I'm going to have to tap. And then they let go because they decided it wasn't working. And you're like, if I just panicked and tapped, I would have been submitted to a choke I actually got out of. Or sometimes, you know, you get put in one and you're like, oh, this is really bad. And then you take a second, you go, actually, it's really unpleasant, but I'm okay. I'm not going to go to sleep here. Like, I have the space. Just take a second with chokes and think, like, calm, rationally, like, stop freaking out like a lot of people do when they get caught in a submission and, you know, desperately try to escape. Take a second and go, okay, am I okay here, or do I need to do something about it?
That's exactly it. You know, I try my best, and I do a good job of, like, if I'm in a submission and it's not fully on, but it's extremely uncomfortable, not to just tap out of, like, you know, I don't want to be here, you know? So, But at the same time, you don't want to hold out on choke where it's like half in, where like only half the blood's going to your brain and you're just like slowly dying almost, you know, like, yeah, you don't want to do that either. So it's a kind of a fine line. A good example was, Alex, so yesterday we're doing our competition drilling, and we were doing it so, you know, and we had each other's backs. Like Alex had my back, he was trying to submit me, I was trying to escape, and we reversed. But when he had my back, he trapped my arm. I was like, oh shit. And then he got his arm underneath my neck, only one arm, and it was so uncomfortable, and I wanted to tap so bad, just get this over with. And then I held out. And then he did eventually tap me though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But we were drilling back schemes. He had my back already. So no one be like, oh, you know, Jordan's getting tapped out. It's okay if you do think that. It's not a big deal. Because, you know, I do get tapped once in a while, and mostly because, like we were talking about earlier, you know, trying different things, and if it doesn't go your way and you end up getting submitted or whatever, it's not a big deal. Like, we're just training. This is how you get better. So yeah.
Exactly.
That's it. So
I got tapped by a white belt last night. I don't care.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't bother me at all.
And what did they say after?
Oh, that was another guy. I won't say anything, but I got tapped by a rooster weight white belt last night.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just happy for him. Because he's been training so hard for this tournament. Joey's been coaching him a lot for this tournament. And he's gotten so much better. It's insane. He tapped me last night. It was great. It's great.
Well, I messed up. It was actually a blue belt that kind of celebrated after you submitted him, and he submitted you, and I don't think that's a big deal if like you're good friends and like
it didn't bother me at all.
That's what I mean, exactly. So I think that's something we should talk about, and not in where it's like it can be okay, because there's a difference between like, you know, someone being a total douche that like, oh, they tapped you and they're bragging, and someone just genuinely being proud of themselves that they got someone that they consider much higher ability than them, right? Yeah. So
I was happy for him too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's different than a guy going, oh shit, yeah, fuck, yeah, you know, I just smashed you, Mike, and jumping around with his hands above his head. It wasn't like that. It was just like, holy shit, I caught you, and I was like, that's awesome, man. You know, like, I'm happy for him.
I think when it's approached that way, it's like they're so, what's the word? Like they see you as being really good, so they're happy with themselves.
I took it as a compliment.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Exactly. It's more of like a compliment more than like a brag. So, you know, it's one of those things where it's like context. And I think in that case, it was like perfectly acceptable and even like nice to see, you know? Yeah. So like I've been submitted before by lower belts too at times. And the same thing too, I wasn't salty. I was just like, wow, like, that was good. You did a great job there, you know? Or like any technique that happens, it's just like, that's the way it should be. And I know they're happy with themselves. They just got me. And, you know, why should I be like a douche and be like, you know, just trying to kill them after?
Exactly.
I'm always proud of them. Like, I know how it felt when I was a white belt and you tap a higher belt. And so I know how it feels for them. And it's like, hey, good, like, you did it right, man. Good job. Like, good. Like, I hate when people make excuses too. Like, oh, well, I wasn't playing my A game, or I was like doing something different. Like, no, you got to give them credit. They got you. Like, my cousin got me in a footlock a couple months ago. It was the first time he's ever submitted me. And it was the first time I've tapped to a straight ankle lock in a long time. I wasn't paying attention. He put it on and I was like, oh, I'll be fine here. And then he started to put the pressure. I was like, I'm not fine. And I tried to get out as hard as I could, and I couldn't. It was just too late before I recognized the danger. And he kind of like was shocked when I tapped. I was like, no, dude, like, good, you did it. He's like, well, you probably let me have it. I was like, absolutely not. Yeah. But like, good for you. Be happy. You should be happy. Like, exactly. It means you're getting better. You can see that. Like, the improvement is there now. Look.
Yeah, it's funny. I had the same exact story actually. It's Alexi, blue belt at our gym. I did give him my ankle because I don't know. I find it fun giving people my ankle because like they're super flexible and like really hard to submit me to ankle locks, just because I'm basically missing the ligaments in my ankle because I've rolled my ankle so many times playing soccer. So I gave it to him like, and then he took it. And I'm like, oh shit, he's got it so hard. It's like he's got it so perfect. And then he got me, and yeah, it wasn't a big deal, you know. Even if I didn't give it to him and he just got it, that's great for him, right? So it's great I got a training partner that can submit me once in a while at least, so giving me a challenge, and great for him. You know, I like to see him improve. So I think some things in jiu-jitsu are very, what's the word? Like the context matters, and also like the vibe and the atmosphere really matters in the way things are approached. So, you know, two similar situations can be very different in the tone of it. So yeah, I wanted to just bring that up because I think that's just a great example of like it's still being very acceptable and positive jiu-jitsu culture.
Yeah, there's a big difference too between celebrating with me if you tap me and be like, "Hey, I got you," like, and I'm like, "Yeah, you got me," like, congratulations. Then going around and telling everyone else at the gym about that time you got me.
Yeah.
If you do that, I'm gonna be mad.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a big time douche move, and which is a great example of like kind of like poor jiu-jitsu culture. And positive jiu-jitsu culture and safety is something I want to promote so much, because there's so like jiu-jitsu is really lacking that, I think. And like a good example is just, I don't want to keep talking shit, but like our old gym, like the first one we went to, I experienced a lot of poor jiu-jitsu culture that way. And I was actually rereading a message that one of my former training partners sent me, basically telling me I was a fake black belt when I got it and whatnot. And I'm just like reading it, and I'm like, I don't want anyone to ever experience something like this. This is like so not cool, like to be that much of a douche to someone. And so I want to really improve jiu-jitsu culture and really let people know, like, because not everyone knows what's acceptable, what's not. And so the more we promote good jiu-jitsu culture, just the better jiu-jitsu gets, and people can be happier and enjoy their time doing this amazing sport.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
So that's like a lot of my motivation, like, with the channel, is like to really do that too, because I have that vehicle to do that. So I got to use what I got. So I'm really excited to keep doing that. All right, let's take this one from TJ.
Hey Jordan, big fan of the pod. Just wanted to ask, do you need to compete in order to be a black belt? Currently, I am a blue belt, really don't have that much drive or desire to compete, and just wondering if it's possible and if you've met any black belts yourself who have not competed.
I don't think it's necessary at all. Like, to me, no big deal. This one doesn't want to compete. It can help you get better, but it's not required. And in the past, like kind of more traditional jiu-jitsu, it's like you wouldn't even it's not even just need to compete. You'd also need to do MMA for some affiliations. They make you fight MMA to progress through your belts. So yeah, I don't think that's doesn't make sense to me. Yeah. What do you guys think? Do you need to compete?
No, I know actually quite a few black belts who at least don't compete now. And as far as I know, have never competed. It's not necessary. Like you said, it can help you get better. It can help you progress. And I think especially if you want to be a black belt who coaches students, so like own your own gym or coach at one, it's really valuable to have that experience having competed, because like, how are you going to coach an athlete on how to bring the best out of them and prepare for a competition and know what to expect if you've never done that yourself? I think that would be really difficult to do, like, well, if you'd never done it. So like, as a coach, I couldn't imagine having never competed and then trying to like work with an athlete and get them ready for what to expect, because I wouldn't know what to expect.
There are outliers like John Danaher, right?
True,
guys like that. There is the odd person that is. Coach.
There are. It's not saying it's impossible, but it's very different. I mean, even if you look at most like other professional sports, it's very rare that you find a head coach who's never either played the sport at least an amateur level, or the ones who haven't usually are like a John Danaher, where they bring some sort of like exceptional knowledge or like interesting, unique approach to the game.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think especially in MMA, it's like if you are trying to coach MMA, you never fought, I mean, you can't really relate to your athletes. So I think that's is more important in MMA. I think it is true in jiu-jitsu, but I think that the average, like, black belt, it's like, why do you have to prove yourself that you're like good or whatever? Or like, it's what your coach thinks. I think you're a black belt, right? So
well, here's a question from me then. By the time I get my black belt, I'll be in my mid to late 50s. So would I not be a legit black belt if I didn't compete? Or does my competition before, like at white and blue belt, count? Like,
doesn't matter at all.
You know what I mean? Like,
if I think you have the skills to be a black belt, you have the rolling ability, you have the dedication, not the atmosphere, the attitude, everything. You're a black belt. So and just say you never competed, and someone were to question me, for giving you a black belt. It's like, I don't care what they think. You know what I mean? It's like, this is my opinion. You're a black belt, and I trust my opinion of when I grade people.
Yeah, I said go roll mic and find out.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll take this one from Mateus.
Hey, Jordan. Big fan of the podcast. You mentioned your confidence in one of your previous podcast episodes and how important that is to your training and development. And I was wondering if that's something you always had or something you developed. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, so that's a great question because I'm a super confident person, but like my confidence has gone like in waves, up and downs, and throughout my life, like long term, but also like short term because, you know, like I mentioned in the past, like on the first podcast that I'm bipolar, I got diagnosed with that, which I'm not 100% sure if that's what it is. Maybe it is. I definitely think like strange, so maybe that's what it is, but like, you know, I have so many ups and downs. And I remember when I was a kid, like I did so well at soccer and like I was always like, or any sport I did, I would always do very well. So it's like the proof is in the pudding. It's like, well, I'm doing well, so I must be good at stuff. And I always felt like I was like decently smart, not at like school stuff because, you know, I'm not very smart at that kind of stuff, but like good at like problem solving and just kind of knowing what to do when and whatnot. So, you know, I've kind of like, yeah, proven, it's kind of been like proof that's gave me some confidence. But then the thing is like, you know, I've had times in my life, like, you know, like in high school, like I was like super lazy athlete. And like, I was wondering like, you know, like I'm supposed to be good. Like, why are these people doing better than me? So then I realized I'm being really entitled almost. It's like, I can't just, you know, be good because I think I'm good. It's like, I need to put in the work to be good. And, you know, the same thing with like just everything in life. Like I remember when I was in my early 20s, it's like, I kind of mentioned this too in the podcast. It was like, you know, I knew I was going to be successful in life and, you know, and gain some wealth and whatnot. But I wasn't. So it's like, I realized, shit, I'm entitled. I need to freaking put in the work to make that happen. So, you know, that's what it came down to a lot. And, you know, like you just got to like, everyone should be confident because if you put in the work to do something, it'll happen. So like, I'm not just confident because, you know, it doesn't come like all natural to me. It's like, you know, I'm putting in the work and then getting the results. So a lot of people, they don't put in the work and they don't get in the results and they think that they're crap or whatever. But it's like, no, you didn't put in the work. You have to put in the work. Like how hard I worked on this YouTube channel is like unreal. Just like so much time, so much effort, so much brain energy. But then I have people, they ask me about starting a YouTube channel and they're like, they're saying they're super dedicated. They're going to make it a big success. But then I see, you know, their videos and they're like very like kind of amateur, which is like fine in the beginning, but they're not thinking every time how to make this video better. And I'm thinking that every single time. So I'm putting in the work to make the videos better, where it's like, I think other people, they kind of don't put in that work and they kind of have that entitlement mentality, or it's like, I just want to be good at this. Like I should be good and I should have this.
Yeah.
So same with jiu-jitsu. It's like, you know, I started off pretty good, but, you know, I still, if I didn't put in the work I put in, I would be like only like decent right now. It might still be a black belt, but I wouldn't be as good as I am now. It's like, because I didn't have that entitlement mentality. It's like, I need to do absolutely everything I can to get like really good at jiu-jitsu because that's what I want. So yeah, I just think people often, they don't want to put in the work and because it's hard to be really good at something. It takes a lot of effort.
You think a lot of people lack the confidence to pull the trigger to do stuff, or? Because that's what my problem is. I say I want to do something. I wanted to start my own YouTube channel. I've been talking with you about that for months, and I just can't pull the trigger. I have all the infrastructure set up, everything done. I just can't pull the trigger.
But it's like, what comes first, the chicken or the egg almost? It's like if you were to start the YouTube channel, put in all that effort, and then you get the results, it's like, oh shit, I am pretty good. You know, and then you get the confidence, like I'm killing it, right? But you need to put in the work first to get the confidence, and you can't expect to have the confidence in the beginning. So right. That's kind of what my point is. I hope like that made sense, that whole tangent. And but yeah, that's basically what it is. Again, you put in the work, you gain the confidence from it, which kind of like snowballs, right? It's like, I can do this. Well, I can do this too, and now I can do this, and that's my mentality with everything. Like for me, I think I can do anything. And I remember in high school thinking like, I remember I was telling Nikki like, anyone can be a millionaire. It's like, you just have to find the path to do it, you know, and like, because there's a path to everything. So a lot of people, they don't want to put in the work to find that path, or it's like, you know, just say I want to be a doctor or an astronaut. It's like, that is possible. I got to put in the work to make it happen. It can't not just going to happen, you know? So yeah, it's like, you have to put in work, and things are hard in life. Anything that's like amazing, is hard, right? I think for me, like having a YouTube channel that has 100,000 subscribers, like that's pretty amazing, especially being just the small town in Trenton, like just pretty random. And, you know, but I put in that work, right? So that's what's giving me the confidence. Put in the work, get the results, snowballs.
How long have you had the channel now?
A year and a half.
I remember when it first started, and your goal was 100 subscribers or 1,000 subscribers?
1,000 subscribers, just for like the beginning part. Then I'd be happy, because then I get monetized, and that was a good thing. That was a good point too, because when I got 1,000 subscribers, that gave me confidence. I'm like, okay, I can do this. But even before that, you know, I was like, I was telling Nikki I'm gonna have 100,000 subscribers. I remember like, or at least I remember telling her or asking her when I announced the YouTube channel, I was making it. I was like, should I write that I'm gonna have 100,000 subscribers? Does that sound cocky? And then she's like, no, don't write that, because that puts pressure on you to like do it, you know. And then I'm like, I wish I would have wrote that, because like it'd be really cool to look back on it and be like, I was right.
You said it in class. You
Yeah.
said it. I remember you said, anybody who doesn't want to be on camera, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I'm starting a YouTube channel, and I'm going to have, you watch how successful this will be. And look at it now, man, 100,000 people, that's friggin' huge, you know?
Man, and it's going to get crazier, because I'm putting in the work. Like this sounds like, something that sounds like egotistical when I say some stuff, but like I want to be the most famous person in jiu-jitsu, and not because of like, you know, ego reasons, but because it brings a lot of great things. One, it promotes healthy jiu-jitsu culture and safety. It gives people great content to watch and, you know, enjoy. It grows the sport, because people tell me all the time they start jiu-jitsu because of inspiration from me. And then it also makes me money, which is nothing to, you know, I feel like that's like a taboo subject, but it's like, why would I not want to make money? You know, my goal is to have like generational wealth, because especially because I had kids, like I feel like I'm responsible for them now so much. It's like, I want them to not have to work if they don't want to, because I know how much I hate working. Like having a real job is like torture to me. I want to do only what I want to do. And I don't want to bring them into this world only to work a job they don't like. So I feel like I'm on a sprint to like take advantage of this opportunity I have now, where I can capitalize on it, and then, you know, make some decent money, invest and whatnot, have generational wealth, take care of my kids, take care of their kids. It's just like it all starts from somewhere, and it's kind of starting now. It's like now I'm starting to do better with the YouTube channel, where it's like can be a really financial big success, and that's why I hired 2 people, because it's an investment, right? So it's costing me a lot of money. Basically half my income from YouTube goes to them, but the plan is to grow it to like way higher amounts. And there's something, I just be honest with people, like, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with talking about money that way. Again, that's not the main objective, but that's you know, that comes with the success of the other things that I have plans to do.
Of course.
Yeah, so I hope no one misinterprets my words, because I'd feel really bad if someone thought, oh, he's just money hungry, he's doing this all for money. Because absolutely, that's not the reason. When I started the channel, money wasn't even on my mind at all. I was just like, I just want to like do this. I think it's going to be really cool. And I knew I was a good teacher, and I knew I could teach things better than kind of what was out there, you know, for the most part. And, you know, so if I figured I'm providing a valuable service to people, because it's kind of funny, like watching videos or instructors. I'm talking about poor videos, poor instructors, and being like, how the heck had their students even survive like in this environment where it's like, how do you learn anything from, you know, a poor instructor? It must be very tough. So to provide easy to understand information, I think is like a really valuable service.
I've never heard you talk about, oh, I can't wait to make this much off of this. I've literally heard you say, I don't want to take this sponsor because I don't believe in it, or you know, something like that, or I don't like it. So you're turning down money. So if you're greedy, you take everything.
Yeah, exactly. And like, that's exactly it. Like I would. And I'm not money hungry people.
Exactly.
So we'll take one more. This one's from Rudy.
Hey Jordan, my name's Rudy. I love your videos, especially as a white belt. I guess my question is, are you pushing your kids into jiu-jitsu yet? Are they into it, or do you want them to do it? Just curious, because I'm going to have a newborn in about a week. So I'm just curious how you went about getting them into jiu-jitsu, if they're into it. But yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so my daughter does jiu-jitsu, and she's like a phenom. She's won a ton of gold medals, and she's really good. And my 2 boys, they're 3 years old. I can't wait for them to start jiu-jitsu. They like grapple a little bit like here, and they kind of like fight with each other and whatnot. Sometimes they're like, what always happens is they start off like, you know, just kind of messing around, having fun, and then one gets pissed at the other one, and they start fighting and screaming at each other and whatnot. So, but I know they're really going to enjoy. They're really going to enjoy jiu-jitsu just because, like they love play fighting, and they just love being like really hands-on. They love like fighting with me. Like they love like. We play this like game all the time where it's just like almost like what's the word? It's like they're trying to get me, I'm trying to get them. Almost like we're like kind of like fighting. Almost it's like I don't know. It's hard to explain, but like they just love it so much. They love it almost like I know they're really gonna love jiu-jitsu. And Audrey, my daughter, yeah, she really loves jiu-jitsu. She's kind of grown up in the gym, you know, because you know we had to bring her to jiu-jitsu and you know stay for the adult class all the time, you know, because we have the gym and like. I'm really excited to, I know they're going to do well, but it's not the type of thing I would like push them into. It's just like naturally they're just going to love it. So I'd be really surprised that they didn't love it. And if they don't, that'll be okay. I mean, I just want them to have a passion in some sort of subject, right? Because I think that's always made me happy, is having something to work towards and, you know, enjoy. Like when I was a teenager, I played guitar and other instruments, and I was like really into making music. And then in my early 20s, like, kind of after high school, I didn't have anything. I was just like, I didn't really like playing music anymore, and I didn't start jiu-jitsu yet. I felt super lost in life and just like, you know, partying and whatnot and just doing things I shouldn't be doing. And then once I started jiu-jitsu, it's like I stopped doing those things, and I started just, you know, taking care of my body more and stopped like drinking and whatnot. And yeah, like I barely drink at all. Like I'll just like I've had like probably like 5 beers in the last like 5 years, you know? So like, well, maybe more than that, but yeah, like I'm not like a drinker at all. And, but in my early 20s I was, so yeah. And like before jiu-jitsu though, that was only a 2-year period between like 20 and 22. Yeah. We'd be like drinking all the time, but I'm sure most people that age do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I know Joey doesn't have any kids, but do you like, I don't know, is that a personal question to ask you if you plan to in the future?
No, Paige and I want one for sure. I think she wants to. I think I'd be happy with one.
Yeah.
It seemed like a lot of work.
I recommend not 3. Like I have 3 is like way too many. 3 is like, 3 is a lot for sure. Like 1 is good, and then 2 is great. Like 3 is a full crowd for sure. It changes your whole life. It's like with having just Audrey, it was like our lives changed, but it wasn't like as drastically as it is now. Having 3 is like such a handful. But when you do eventually have kids, like you're gonna put them in jiu-jitsu, I assume.
I'm gonna try. Like you said, like I hope they'll love it. I want them to love it like I do, and like I really want to be able to share what I know and like my passion with the kid, because like it's also like a bonding time. Like, you know, you see parents who have kids who train on the mat, and you're like, oh, that's really cool that like we have one girl, I think she's 16 or 17, and her dad who trains, and it's like, how many 16, 17-year-old girls spend that kind of time with their dad, like working out, getting fit, but also like really sharing a journey together. Like I think that's really special. So I hope my kid likes it, but if they don't, that's okay, as long as they have something in their life. Like I've always said with my wife, like our kid's gonna do something, like some sort of hobby. Like I'd like it to be a sport or something athletic, because it's healthy to be athletic. But if it's like you said, like music, or, you know, I really don't care, as long as you have something that's not just like sitting at home watching Netflix or being a degenerate. Like find something you like in life and do it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think that's super important to have something like that in your life for sure. And Mike, I know you have one daughter.
Yeah, she's 23.
She has no interest in jiu-jitsu.
No interest. One night I came home and I said, hey, do you want to try it? And she goes, well, show me a couple moves. I put her in a Kimura. She's like, fuck that. I'm never doing that again. 23 years old. We're like best friends. So she's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's really, you know, beautiful for like, you know, we're talking about the 16-year-old and her dad, like, because like you said, like a lot of people, they don't get to spend that time with each other. And like, especially like if I didn't have jiu-jitsu, it's like, what would I do with Audrey when she's 16? I feel like, what could we possibly do together that's going to be, you know, regularly, that's going to be like a hobby we love? Nothing really. So I really hope she still trains. And then when she's 16, man, she's gonna be a killer, because she's been training so long, and Audrey's like super strong and just like a really what's the word, like almost like thick almost. So like I think when she's like 16, she'll be pretty like she might be like 140 150 pounds almost, I think, like, and but still like lean. So I think she'll be like a good training partner for me, and especially Nikki. Like, I think when Audrey's 16, her and Nikki are gonna have some hard rolls. I'm really excited to see that. That's gonna be freaking awesome. And same thing with my boys. Like, when they're probably when they're around like 16, 18, they'll probably be like a good size for me to roll with. And that's like, 13, 15 years from now, and I'll be, how old will I be? I'll be in my 40s, so I won't be like too old to roll. And I'm super excited to roll like real rolls with them, like hard rolls.
Yeah.
How's that going to feel the first day your kid like taps you for real though? Like really gets you as a parent, you're going to be like, crap, my kid can beat me up now.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'll probably feel like we talked earlier, so much like pride in the fact that they can do that. But yeah, a little bit of like, damn it, they got me now. Okay, who's the man of the house now, right? It's like, now they are shit. So yeah, no, I'm super excited for that. And yeah, this thing is so beautiful. So one thing too I want to mention, just like a small point, I think sometimes people start their kids too early in jiu-jitsu, and they might burn out quickly before they, really develop a love for it. So in my opinion, kids should start jiu-jitsu at like 7 or 8. Audrey started when she was 3, and she was fine. Like, it's fine for her, but that's the reason why we don't take like 3 and 4 year olds because at our gym, because one thing, it's freaking hard to teach them because they don't have the attention span, and 2, they end up quitting after not too long because they just can't stick with it, and then they might not start up again when they're older or even like a couple of years older, they might feel, I already did that, I don't really like that. So I'm not a huge fan of like younger kids classes for that reason. And I think personally, I think that a lot of times it's just like a money grab from gyms, where they just like want to like have another program, make some money, but the actual program itself is like not that great, unless it's like there are some great programs where they play tons of fun games, have a great time, but then there's also some where it's like, yeah, this isn't really great. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you guys next time.